Good evening.
Good evening, Swami.
তুই যাওনি? কোথায় যাবে এখন? দেখতে এসেছে, তারপরে চলে যাবে। এখানে থাকবে না?
কিশোর ভাই ওখানে আছে।
কিশোর ভাই, আচ্ছা। What is this for? And that will be needed?
Next to that.
Where is that pillow gone?
Well, here's one.
So let it be there if I can read. Otherwise I have to ask somebody. A male voice, strong voice. Oh, Shiva. Oh, Mr. Reed is here. I thought no, there's no problem. You can read. You have to come here. No, not now. Just let me see if I can, to some extent.
Mr. Reed, wait. If he can't read, you have to come in.
No, better you come. There. That is your place. तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। Thy nectar sweet words soothe lives scorched in the fire of worldliness. They have been sung by saints and sages of all times. Listening to thy words with faith and devotion is conducive to our spiritual well-being. Those who spread thy words are indeed the givers of the highest truth to man. This is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, translated by the author of the Gospel, M, by himself. It used to be published serially in our papers, but the Gospel we see, Swami Nikhilananda's big book, that was published much later. And this has I have read from this book. Now from here, chapter 2, Divine Incarnation. You take this book, Mr. Reed. You will read a few lines.
Yes.
If I feel like expanding, I shall expand, and you should read more from there. Do you need this?
No, Swami.
Section 14, 1886, Chapter 1. Divine Incarnation for the sake of those that love the Lord. Sri Ramakrishna is staying with his disciples in the garden at Kasipur. He is lying very ill in the large room upstairs. It is evening. Narendra and Rakal are gently stroking his feet with his hand. Nani is also seated near the master, who beckons to him to join in the service and relieve one of the two brothers. It is Sunday, 14th of March, 1886, second Chaitra, 9th day of the light fortnight of Falgoon. It is the Sunday after the birthday anniversary, which came off on the preceding Sunday at the garden. Last year, the anniversary was celebrated with great rejoicing at the temple at Dakshineswar. This year, the master is very ill, and his disciples are sorely troubled in spirit. God indeed was worshipped as usual on that day, and the usual offerings were made to him. But there was no feast made in which the public could take part. The disciples are all present in the garden, watching and nursing their beloved master. Our Holy Mother is also here, night and day, is she engaged in the blessed service of the Lord. Most of the younger disciples are here. They have practically left their homes and have thrown themselves heart and soul into the noble work, that of ministering to Him, from which they have learned the true meaning of life in the enigmatic world. The older disciples, many of whom have entered the world, come to see the Master almost every day. Some of them come to stay for 2 or 3 days at a time. He is very ill today. It is midnight. The garden and the house are bathed in the moonlight, but the hearts of the disciples know no peace, for it is feared that he, who hath solved the problem of life for them, is about to leave the world. There is perfect silence. All nature is still, save for the rustling sound of the leaves, which slightly move in the gentle breeze of spring that blows from the south. In the midst of this stillness is the Master lying in his chamber upstairs, sleepless. One of the 2 disciples are seated near, watching. At times he seems to fall asleep. Or is it that he has passed into that blessed state of communion in which the mind remains unmoved in the midst of the greatest sorrow and suffering. M is seated by his side, dumb, bewildered at the sight of sufferings unspeakable, a sight which would rend the heart of the most hard-hearted. At the bidding of the Master, he comes still nearer. He says to M in broken words, "Lest you and your brothers pardon me, but I don't have my glasses and I'm having a bit of difficulty. All right. Lest you and your brothers here shall go about weeping. I do suffer so much. If you all say your suffering of the flesh are terrible, let the body go. Let the body be given up. If you will say it, then this body may be laid aside." M is speechless and looks bewildered. It is the moment of agony with the disciples. Their hearts are rent asunder. He who is their father, their mother, their teacher, their protector, their master, their all, speaks these words. What are they to say in reply? Is this another crucifixion, thinks one of them to himself, another sacrifice for the sake of mankind, and especially for the sake of those who, in the absence of their shepherd, will be like so many scattered sheep.
Acha, all right. See, we have seen just 1 year before a strong body, so cheerful. Now he is in the Kashipur garden house, that is where he is very ill. But before that, when he was in Dakshineshwar, how cheerful and youthful he was. He was running, jumping, speaking, dancing, going to Calcutta to visit devotees and returning after midnight. All he did with so much enthusiasm. That was the mission of his life. But he knew even at that time that this frail body must one day succumb to its ultimate destiny. So that period has come now. He is very ill and he is in the Kashipur garden house. Even there, his whole mind was for others. That is what he is suggesting, that this body is suffering. It is natural that this body, since it is the body of flesh, it must one day go. But I cannot bear to see your sadness. So if you all say conjointly that when the body is suffering so much, let it go. Very cruel statement. And so the devotees are bewildered to hear this, what they will say. So that scene we can mentally mentally picture that scene, that what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. Sri Ramakrishna knows for all the time the mission of his life. He was not an ordinary mortal, that he was an avatar, that he was divine incarnation, was known to him all the time. All the time he was conscious of his real nature. But for the sake of devotees, he played these different roles in Dakshineshwar, in Dakshineshwar one role. And so when you read his life story, you are amazed to see that what drama was going on. And now it is a sad chapter, it is a very sad drama. He knows that these devotees are very much aggrieved by my illness. So he is saying that if you all say that yes, let this body go, then it will go. And this makes the devotees very sad. Then, what next? Please read.
It is the dead of night. The master gets worse. Is there any help? A message is sent to Calcutta friends. Dr. Upendra and Kaviraj Navagopal come up with Girish from Calcutta at the dead of night. The disciples are with the master. He seems a little better. He says, "The sufferings are of the flesh. That is as it should be, for the body is made of the 5 elements. Yes, it comes from matter." Turning to Girish, he says, "What do you think I always see in this state?" Well, it is the spiritual forms of the Lord. Many and various are those forms. Amongst them do I behold also this form here, in which to the Lord hath manifested himself. By this form, the master means his own form. Chapter 2.
Acha, just wait. The master had to reveal himself. Otherwise, how could people understand him? That is why sometimes he had to say that I am that. And when the master says, I am that, that is different, that is so much power. And as we read the Gospels, we find different occasions when the master is thus revealing himself. If he reveals himself, that is true revelation. Somebody else I want to read. You can read, lady? You lady? Why are you doing this?
Okay, surely.
Take this seat.
Okay.
It's chapter 2. I'm sorry, I haven't got my glasses and I can scarcely see what I'm doing.
Chapter 2, God Vision of Sri Ramakrishna. It is between 7 and 8 o'clock the following morning, Monday, the 15th of March. The Master has rallied a little. Softly he talks with the disciples. He is seated, reclining on pillows. At times he expresses his thoughts by means of signs. Narendra, Rakal, M, Latu, Sashi, the senior Gopal are seated before him. The disciples sit mute. Their heart knows no peace. They call back to their mind the state of the Master on the previous night and look grave. Master to M. Do you know what I see? I see him as all. Man and other creatures, they appear as veritable figures, skin-bound, with the Lord within, shaking the head or moving the hands and feet. I had once a like perception. One substance, I felt, had taken the forms of the cosmos with all living creatures, like a house of wax, with gardens, roads, men, cows, and the rest, all made of wax and nothing but wax. I realize that all the three come of one substance, the victim to be sacrificed, the block for sacrifice, and he who cuts down the victim for sacrifice. Does the Master say that he offers himself as a sacrifice for the sake of mankind, and that it is the Lord that manifests himself as the victim for sacrifice? Saying this, the Master cries out in a feeble voice, Ah me, what a vision. The state of God consciousness comes once more. The Master has soared high above the sense world. The state of ecstasy is not good for him, so think the disciples, but they know not what to do. He comes back again to the ordinary state of consciousness. He says, Now I am free from suffering of any kind. I am as well as ever. The disciples see that he has passed into a state which is beyond joy and grief, happiness and misery. Latu hangs down his head, which rests on the palm of his hand, as he watches the Master with a sorrowful heart. The Master lifts up his eyes and looks on the disciples. His heart overflows with the unspeakable love that he bears towards his darlings, a love that the world cannot give, a love that passes all human understanding. Recall in Narendra how he fondles them. He strokes their faces and caresses them as if they were children 5 years old. A short while after, he says to M in a sad tone, Were it given to this body to stay on in this world for a few days more, the souls of many people would have been waked up. With these words, he remains silent for a time. He continues, saying, But it hath been ordained otherwise. The disciples wait for his next words. The Master says again, Yes, such is not the will of the Lord. Here is one in whom there is no guile, one that knows not letters, and people may take advantage. He may give away God's best gifts to those that are not worthy and know not the value of devotional exercises in this age of sensuality and mammon worship. Does the Master mean that the Son of God, the divine incarnation, is the embodiment of God's love for mankind, and that the world cannot be kept going if all human beings who are expected to work for the perpetuity of the species came to realize God through his Son, and thus bring a cessation to it? Recall affectionately, Do speak to the Lord, sir, so that thy body may remain in this world for some time more. Sri Ramakrishna, Lord's will be done. Narendra, thy will has become one with the will of the Lord. The Master holds his peace as if thinking within himself. Sri Ramakrishna to Narendra, Rakal, and others. Well, nothing comes of my speaking to the Lord about it. His will shall be done. I now see that I and my Divine Mother have become one once for all. Radha said to Krishna, O beloved, abide thou within my heart and appear not any longer in thy human form. But she soon yearned to see Krishna in human form. Her heart struggled and panted after the beloved, but the Lord's will must be done, and Krishna did not appear in human form for a long time. Recall, aside to the disciples, the Master speaks of Chaitanya, M to himself, one with his Divine Mother, one with the undifferentiated. Now it is so hard for him to continue as a separate personality, the Son merged into the Mother. Is this the meaning of the Master's words?
Acha, give it to another reader.
You mentioned Mary, she's right here.
Huh?
You mentioned Mary, she's right here.
Who?
Mary.
Mary? Where is Mary? Come here. Now, which place you read, you show us.
She's showing me.
Acha. Don't cry. When you read, naturally, there will be sadness in your heart, and naturally, since you are a woman, naturally you are prone to cry more than a man. Man is hard-hearted. Acha, read now.
A message from the beyond. The disciples sit still. The Master looks on them with affection. He puts his hands upon his heart and will speak. Sri Ramakrishna to Narendra and other disciples. Here, that is, within himself, there are two persons. One is the Divine Mother. The disciples wait for the rest of his words. He continues. One is the Divine Mother. The other person is her devotee. It is the second person who has been now taken ill. Do you understand this? The disciples sit still and do not utter a single word. Sri Ramakrishna, alas, to whom shall I speak all this, and who is there to understand me? A short while and the Master continues. The Lord comes with his disciples as a divine incarnation. He takes a human body. His disciples go back with him to the Divine Mother. Recall, therefore, sir, you must not go before us and leave us behind. The Master smiles with love unspeakable beaming from his eyes. He says, a band of fowls comes into a house all on a sudden. They chant the name of the Lord and dance with joy. That none, they leave the house at once. A band of fowls comes into a house all on a sudden. They chant the name of the Lord and dance with joy. That done, they leave the house at once, as abrupt in going as in coming, and the people know them not. The Master and the disciples smile. The Master continues, taking human body, one cannot avoid suffering. I sometimes say to myself, may the Lord grant that I may not be sent unto this world any more. But there is one thing to be taken into account. The rice and dal to be had in one's home ceases to interest one if one is invited to the Lord's feast. M. To himself, does the Master mean that the Son of God, who is the embodiment of God's love, is ever fond of abiding with his own, vis-a-vis those that love the Lord and the Lord alone? The ambrosia that he distributed at his feast, was it not the love of the Lord? Master, he takes the human body for the sake of the pure souls that love the Lord alone. The Master looks on Narendra with ineffable tenderness. Maharaj?
Dhruva, eso. Sit down. अच्छा गान होते पड़े one song अच्छा पर तो ये करो say the words and a rough translation a mother's song or Tagore's song or Thakur's song whatever
This is a song of goddess Durga. It's a morning rag known as Bhairavi. It says Bhavani Dayani Mahavakavani, means the mother of the universe, the mother of all creation. You are the protector of all of us, and all the evil in the world is destroyed by you. All the gods are protected, are with your mercy. They pray to you for your grace. Bhavani Dayani Bhavani Dayani Mahavakavani Suranara Muni Jana Mani Sakala Buddha Gyani Bhavani Dayani Bhavani Dayani Bhavani Dayani Mahavakavani Suranara Muni Jana Mani Sakala Buddha Gyani Bhavani Dayani Bhavani Jagajanani Jagajani Jagajanani Jagajani Mahishasura Mardini Mahishasura Mardini Jwala Mukhi Chandi Jwala Mukhi Chandi Amar Padadani Bhavani Dayani Bhavani Dayani Mahavakavani Suranara Muni Jana Mani Sakala Bhavani, Bhavani.
Mother song,
Durga.
Durga. আরেকটা হতে পারে Untitled song.
I don't recall some Tagore song right now, some other song.
আচ্ছা, yes.
This is a baul song about a seeker. He uses figurative language. He says that I go to the school of my master to learn arithmetic. And what happens there is that my soul and the universal soul have merged, and I could not learn arithmetic. That means he goes to learn sums, 1 plus 1 is 2, but what he learns at the feet of the master is 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. Then he says that multiplication is on fire and addition is cancelling each other, and what we have in the hand is nothing but a big zero. Means that there nothing is left, the union is complete with the Lord. Says, I've come to your school to learn arithmetic, but I failed to learn arithmetic, I just learned this much. Baul songs are, I read it here, bauls are people, wandering minstrels who sing songs on the spot, on extempore inspiration, and mostly their songs have very deep spiritual meaning, but they use very ordinary day-to-day allegories. একে একে মিলে গেল, একে একে মিলে গেল, হাতে কিছু রইল না। গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না, গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না। একে একে মিলে গেল, একে একে মিলে গেল, হাতে কিছু রইল না। গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না, গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না। গুণে আমার আগুন ধরে, গুণে আমার আগুন ধরে, যোগ যে হয় বিয়োগের ধরে। গুণে আমার আগুন ধরে, যোগ যে হয় বিয়োগের ধরে। যোগ বিয়োগ মিলিয়ে গেল, যোগ বিয়োগ মিলিয়ে গেল, শূন্য পূরণ হলো না। গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না, গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না। একে একে মিলে গেল, একে একে মিলে গেল, হাতে কিছু রইল না। গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না, গুরু তোমার পাঠশালাতে অঙ্ক শেখা হলো না।
বাহ, I cannot torture you more and more, but you have endless stock. You have sung a bowl song, a mother's song. Brahma Sangita also, Tagore's song? No.
I don't have a very big.
There are another bowl song.
Another bowl song. Okay.
Because they are spontaneous. The words are mystical words, but the feeling is coming from a depth, you see, and so they are so appealing to the heart. Though you cannot understand literally the words, but in the depth of your heart, you feel the impact of the song. Acha, another one.
This is a song sung by the Baul, who says he uses a type of form of music which is called Bhatiyali, which is a boatman's song. But the composer in this case has used that form to express a Baul thought, mystical thought. He says that I am sitting on the bank of a river and begging to the master to be taken across this river of life. He says that I have no brother, I have no friends who can take me. It's only the kind master who in his mercy can ferry me across. The next stanza uses a very day-to-day life allegory, but the meaning is again very interesting. He says that I have no boat, I have no oars, and the boatman is on the other side of the river, and I don't know his name. Whom shall I call up to? Then it's the master who can take me across. The boat here means the body, where he has surpassed body consciousness. And he says, I have no oars. That means he has transcended duality. The two oars, the relative, he has transcended these two stages. And then he says, the boatman is on the other side of the river and I don't know his name, because he has reached the point where there is no name necessary to reach the ultimate. But still, there is a small distance remaining. And that small distance, the master has to take him across to meet the ultimate. So, Kende akul hoilam ami boishe nodir pare amay parke bakare. Kende akul hoilam ami boishe nodir pare amay parke bakare. Amar bhai nai re বন্ধু নাই রে সঙ্গে নেব কারে। আমার ভাই নাই রে বন্ধু নাই রে সঙ্গে নেব কারে। দয়াল গুরু যদি কৃপা কইরে সঙ্গে নেয় আমারে আমায় পারকে বাকারে। দয়াল গুরু যদি কৃপা কইরে সঙ্গে নেয় আমারে আমায় পারকে বাকারে। কেন্দে আকুল হইলাম আমি বৈশে নদীর পারে আমায় পারকে বাকারে। আমার নাও নাই কান্ডারি নাই রে মাঝি অন্য পারে। আমার নাও নাই কান্ডারি নাই রে মাঝি অন্য পারে মাঝি ভাইয়ার নাম জানি না মাঝি ভাইয়ার নাম জানি না ডাক দিব কাহারে আমায় পাকে বাকারে ও ভাই মাঝি ভাইয়ার নাম জানি না ডাক দিব কাহারে আমায় পাকে বাকারে কেন্দে আকুল হইলাম আমি বৈশে নদীর পারে আমার পাকে বাকারে পাকে বাকারে পাকে বাকারে
Wow. Blessed evening. I did not expect that you would come. So all God's will that you came and entertained us. It's beautiful songs. Everyone is happy. Everyone is happy?
We're especially happy to see you here Saturday night.
Acha, in your school, do you sing these songs?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Baul songs and such? As a course?
No, it is in addition to the course we teach. The course is mainly classical music, but we teach these songs to enlarge the one is repertory and also to give the depth, to let them feel mystical ideas.
Acha, can you sing one line of classical with Tana?
Yes.
One line or two line will do, but Tana, the expansion.
Yes. I'll sing a late night rag known as Darbari Kannada. It's the mood is very majestic, but the composition here is again a philosophical one. It says that the meaning of the text is that you are the doctor of this life, and if you wish, you can remove our poverty, means our ignorance, in just a second. We can remove our pride, ego, all that. In just a moment's grace, you can do that. साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम पाक परवर दिगार गर्वी को करब दूर कर डारत हो छिन में मैं दुखिया तुम दाता तुम साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम पाक परवर दिगार गर्वी को गर्भ दूर कर डारत हो छिन मैं दुखिया तुम दाता तुम साई हकीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम तुम साई हकीम पाक परवर दिगार गर्वी को गर्भ दूर कर डारत हो छिन में मैं दुखिया तुम दाता तुम साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम रहीम करीम तुम साई हकीम तुम साई हकीम तुम साई हकीम।
वाह, time is also up. You are leaving tomorrow?
No, Maharaj, we are here till Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes.
So where will you be these days? There are some programs?
Till Thursday we are at Kishore Bhai's place.
Kishore's place.
Yeah.
You will have some programs?
Not till Thursday.
Acha.
If you say we can offering one of these days.
Offering
Yeah, at the temple.
in the temple. So what is the earliest day we can have? Today is what day?
Today is Saturday.
Tomorrow is Sunday. Huh?
Tomorrow is Sunday.
Tomorrow is Sunday. What will be a convenient time?
Anytime.
Huh?
Maybe Wednesday, Maharaj, so we could invite others. We have time to let them know.
No, that will be too much trouble for him.
No. I think it's okay. Whatever you say, whichever suits.
If you call others, it will be a program. We have to find money.
No, Swamiji, please.
This is a devotional offering.
Is he coming back in May?
Yeah, there's some, Kishore and Mr. Gandhi, they're trying something in the university. Of course, I'll be in North America till, both of us will be here till end of May, beginning of June. There are a lot of concerts beginning 1st April, number of cities, but we'll be back and forth into California. And possibly something is brewing up for the end of May. I'm not sure what date it worked out.
Today is what day? Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. So tomorrow evening, if he comes, some offerings, some song offerings. We need not call many people. Yeah? What do you like this idea?
Anything.
Sunday, tomorrow Sunday, or Vesper is there. After Vesper, yes. That means what time? 7. That will be nice. Tomorrow evening, if you in the shrine, not many people will be there. That will be nice offering to Thakur.
Yes.
Yeah. Acha. I'm very happy that you could come. Jai.